That's recording.
Okay, you ready?
Thank you.
Okay, guys, I'm going to introduce our first demo of the game. We were working really hard to produce a AAA game. We included in this demo all the basic mechanics that the game is going to include during the year. We have the basic foundation for artificial intelligence, for gameplay, and also for the combat system. So we are going to start with a demo. I want to introduce Savarish. Savarish is the lead gameplay engineer. He's going to show you all the features of the game.
Alright. Hey guys, as Alberto said, I'm Sabrish, lead gameplay engineer, and we've got Ravi, combat engineer lead, working on playing the game for me. Alright, so this is Apophis, people. Here's our main character. So basically what we have going on is our main character is this loner abandoned on a mysterious alien planet, and he has a bunch of instruments or weapons called Apophis that are hooked onto his arms. So these things act as conduits for life. So you can take life from objects, you can channel life back into objects, create new objects with your life. You can pretty much interact with anything in the world using your life. But the catch to having these weapons hooked onto you is the fact that there's some life that's draining from your health bar all the time. So we feel the sense of urgency really adds to the gameplay, and I guess that's what the crux of the game boils down into. So Ravi, would you mind like heading over to that alive-looking bush and drawing a little health from it? So there you go. So any objects in the world that you think may have some health, you can just draw some life from them and replenish your health bar. So we wanted this life mechanic to pretty much be the basis of our 3 design pillars. So over the course of this midterm demo, I'm going to demonstrate how this core life mechanic is going to tie into those 3 design pillars. So first up is the combat design pillar. So we're going to have Ravi run down there and head over to that little dead NPC on the side. Now this life mechanic isn't a gimmick. There aren't these special objects in the world that you can take life from. You can take life from pretty much anything or give life to anything. So if we want to revive that dead NPC using some of our health, well, we're just going to do that. So Ravi's going to channel a little health into that NPC, and that NPC is going to wake up. And that guy's pretty grateful that he's on our side now. So he's going to help us fight that enemy NPC. So Ravi can just choose to watch them battle in sweeping animations, or he can just head over there and fight them himself. So for the midterm demo, we have 4 basic attacks working. We have a couple of light attacks, we have a couple of heavy attacks, and we can use them to create combos. Alright, so I think now is a great time for me to pass the gun to Alex, and he's going to talk about the vision we had for our environment design. Alex?
Hi, my name is Alex. I'm helping develop the environments for Apophis. We're going for a post-apocalyptic look. We're not talking like Mad Max or Fallout 3 style. This is way future in the world, kind of almost like a dead world that's kind of recovering. And that's why you see kind of dead trees with a little bit of fauna and darker colors with it. With the layout, with going up the hill and hitting that first set of ruins, the idea with that progression was just, it's the emotional journey of the ascension. You get up to the top of the ruins, and we decided to put the ruins there to tie it into the temple, the ruined temple, which will be a big combat sequence. And there it makes more sense when you come across, instead of a temple in the middle of the woods, you add in other elements in the area. It adds more of a story, sense of depth, so it becomes more immersive overall. And it's one of the things we wanted to put in is more visual objectives instead of little blinking icons everywhere telling you where to go. You can visually see it, be drawn to it. So that's why we wanted to focus on the silhouette of the temple rising out of the background.
Alright, thanks Alex. So, I mean, drawing off of what Alex said, I think what we really wanted with how we're depicting the environment is to not have UI laid over the environment telling us where to go. We wanted the level to tell us where to go. So that vista was pretty much the level telling us, hey, there's this cool looking temple in the background, that's where we want to head towards. So Ravi's going to like look for more objects in the world that seem alive. We pretty much have just one mesh for objects that seem alive, but he's going to draw some health out of that, replenish his health bar, because it looks like there's a pretty big combat situation waiting for him. Alright, so here's a great chance to show how our second pillar, the life mechanic with stealth, can be used to negotiate situations. So you can channel your health into pretty much anywhere to create these life objects, and they're not just going to be objects sitting around the world. You can use them to stealth past people. So there's our cool AI system in patrol mode. We have a bunch of behaviors for our AI. One of them is on showcase here, the patrol mode. And when they're in patrol mode and they don't have an enemy, you can use stealth to sneak past them. So Ravi's going to get back a little health from this guy and run up. And there are our friendly NPCs negotiating this guy. Okay. Ravi, do you want to head towards the temple? Okay, Ravi really wants that help. Okay. Let's head over into the temple, which is the main sequence, the main objective for our midterm demo. And we're going to demonstrate our final gameplay pillar, which ties into the core health mechanic, and that's squad combat. So now these revived NPCs, they just don't act on their own behavior. You can actually order them around, and you can use them to tackle these combat zones. So I think Ravi located these ranged NPCs standing up there who might fire some arrows at us. So what Ravi's going to do is replenish health as usual, walk up to those ranged NPCs and deal some damage on them. Let's take these guys out because we really want them on our side. We don't want those arrows peppering us as we're negotiating all those guys at the bottom. So let's bring this guy over to our side. Ravi, do you want to take out the other guy too, or? Okay, Ravi wants to take out everyone. Okay, we're going to take out this guy. There's one of our combos in action. Light, heavy. He's done. He's dead. Okay, let's go into squad combat mode. Okay, it's gonna go down and go into squad combat mode, I guess. And all right, so there's squad combat mode. So the game goes into this super slow-mo mode, and you can use the D-pad to cycle between any NPCs that are on your side. There's one of them. Here's the other guy. Here's the guy that we just converted. Let's ask him to pepper the NPCs that are bothering us with some arrow fire so that we might find it a little easier to negotiate them. Okay, so I'm gonna have our UI marker move over them, highlight them, let's hit attack, and then drop back in. And pretty soon he's gonna decide to, oh, there you go. There's our guy shooting some arrows down at those guys below, doing his job. Yeah, so you can order NPCs to move around, you can ask them to distract enemies as you walk on by. It's really these three design pillars that all stem from that one mechanic, using our health bar to deal with situations. And now Ravi can deal with this combat zone pretty much how he feels. He can run back out, disappear into a bush, go into stealth, and watch as his friendly NPCs deal with these guys. He can walk in and deal some heavy damage with his combos, pretty much anything. So we really want to explore the option of using these three pillars to negotiate situations as you want to. And that's one thing I really hate about hack and slash games, is not having the freedom to explore situations as you want to. But I think with Apophis we're heading in the right direction. And I think come the final demo we should have these mechanics more polished and more awesome content headed our way, and probably more added to the narrative as well. So that's it from me. I'm going to hand it back to Alberto, and he's going to talk about the milestones that we want to achieve before the final level. Thanks, guys.
Okay, guys, so what is next? As you may see, the game includes very good mechanics, but for the final demo, we are going to work in very specific areas. We are going to work in the UI. We are going to create the menus. We are also going to include team behaviors. We are going to include more combos. We are going to improve the physics, the camera. We want to include the slow motion in the camera when the hero is attacking. We are going to include the special effects and improve the performance. Regarding the game design, we are going to work more on the balancing all the mechanics, including more stealth mechanics in the level. And we are going to polish this forest that you saw, and we are going to include a new level that is going to be a really cool cave. So thank you. That's for them.
I'd like to do now is open the floor to questions and answers so that you can get feedback from your peers. So let's take the next 5 minutes to do some Q&A.
Okay. Questions?
Questions?
Yeah, sure.
Lady in the back.
For textures, are you guys using like photoreal photograph textures on all of your rocks and stuff and all of your ground tiles? Those look really good.
Right, thank you.
Now, some of those are textures that are imported in, and some of them are already in engine, actual 2D textures that we map with other materials and texture coordinates and UV layouts and apply those on the objects. The pre-built ones are the stuff like in the ruins. Those are our pre-built assets that we've imported in. We got through Unreal. But the ground textures, that's all hand painted. The tree textures are all hand painted. The character is all original. So
I wonder, through the course of gameplay, have you guys noticed your primary mechanic getting kind of monotonous or sort of downtrodden? It seems like having to consistently refill your life as a primary mechanic might be sort of burdensome for a player.
Well, we have thought about it, but I guess the important part is that sense of urgency we want to deal on the player. I mean, I've played a lot of hack and slash games. I've done my Devil May Cry. I've done my God of War, and the thing that it really boils down into is I feel like I could just stand on a spot and do pretty much nothing for a while and not have the game push me in any general direction. And I think it's important from a gameplay perspective for me to constantly be pushed in a direction to do something. So rather than having the player sit back and have these NPCs, like our friendly NPCs, pretty much deal with the situation himself, it does give him a reason to actually go and participate in the combat himself. Because every time you're actually fighting guys, you are getting help from them. It's not just help from the surrounding environment. Because like I said, these things, if they intersect with any object in the game, if that object does have health, you're going to get health from it. So although Ravi was showcasing using the environment to get back health, engaging in combat is a pretty good way to get back health too. And I totally get what you're saying, and it's something we might want to think about. We might want to think about sections where our health degeneration is not that fast or is not that compelling. Yeah, it's something to definitely think about. Thanks.
More questions?
So I'd like to know what feature was it that surprised you the most as it relates to production, where you felt, oh, it's going to take maybe 10 units of time to complete this, but it turned out to be 100 units of time?
Probably the combat.
Definitely the combat
System. We were trying a lot of techniques to implement that. At the beginning, we had not a good gameplay experience with the combat, so we tried the controller. We didn't feel a good experience from that. But later, we were watching a lot of videos, slow motion videos of God of War, Devil May Cry. We were trying to analyze how we can build a combat engine to try to reproduce the same kind of effects.
Interesting.
And I think I'd also like to add that it's not like with Sony Santa Monica that have hundreds of animators working day in, day out, like producing all these really cool animations to make that combat feel good. So I think a real roadblock was hitting that animation deadlock. Like, hey, we've got 5 animations to produce a combat system, and we need to produce something out of this. And I think that was the biggest roadblock. But it's credit to the combat team that they actually managed to pull this off.
In response to that, I think that you'll notice on the development, on the dev truck that I published, there is a rather large chunk of time that is laid out for animators and engineers to collaborate together in order to get the entire movement system and combat system nailed down, because
Sure.
there's a lot of back and forth.
Absolutely.
So I think that's actually a really great takeaway. So overall, then, how many weeks would you estimate you spent on the combat system, and how many individuals were involved?
We were working, starting in the summer with analysis of system for the combat. But the final version is like 4 weeks of work. Once we
4 weeks, how many
decided what
people?
path.
4 or 5 weeks and 4 dedicated people? Yes.
Yeah.
And
4 dedicated people, wow, okay.
Yeah.
And how much more remains?
We are not going to add so much in this semester. We basically adding some more attacks like the grounded slam, uppercut, but they are going to share the same mechanic. So we will try to polish the mechanic to improve a little bit the physics, a little bit the precision, a little bit the animations, but you are going to be basically the same, more some additional attacks.
Okay.
I think we also want to tie the life taking a little more into the combat system, because right now it's just you deal damage and you get a little bit of health, but we want to have like these special combat moves that channel health a lot faster from the enemies that are fighting. That might add a little variation to the combat. Maybe like, do I want to pull off this move and make myself a little more vulnerable to these guys around me attacking me, but I'm going to get a lot more health from doing that. So I think we want to layer those things into the combat too from December.
Okay, well, plan accordingly.
Alright, thanks.
Any other questions?